power of the suggestion system. What does the word suggestion mean to you? Faced with so many things to do every day and never quite being able to finish them all properly, perhaps you spend many restless nights thinking about all the things that you can't do and all those things that you might do if only you could. But thinking about ideas and suggestions for improvements in the workplace should be an enjoyable activity in which everyone can take part. Great satisfaction can be found from having an idea, thinking it out carefully, and then watching it put into practice. The activity of making suggestions can lead to everyone's work becoming more satisfying, it can greatly help your company in many ways, and it can also ensure that everyone can work more happily together. In this video, we would like to demonstrate how to identify problems and explain the whole process of suggesting ideas for improvements. First of all, please look carefully at this pencil. There's something slightly strange about it. That's right. Comparing the two pencils, you'll see that the cutting line of the one on the left is the opposite of normal. Did you spot that? Next, how about this silhouette? Do you recognize the shape? It's a part of the world map that everybody knows. If we turn the shape round, it becomes clear. Yes, it's Africa. As you can see, even the most familiar things can be difficult to recognize if we change the angle. The reason, of course, is that we always look at a world map with north at the top. We have a very fixed idea of things that we should notice every day, and we don't pay much attention to details. However, if we observe things carefully, lots of interesting things can appear. Let's now take an example from our everyday activities. Please think carefully about the things that happened to you today, from the time you got up to the time you arrived at work. Maybe there were things that annoyed you, unfortunate things, dangerous things, wasteful things, inconvenient, unsatisfactory, uneasy, unreasonable, unsafe, uneconomical. If you think back, you probably experienced some negative situations. Last night you stayed up late, so didn't want to get up. No time to eat the breakfast so carefully prepared for you. Almost falling down when the packed train braked suddenly. Being ignored when you greeted everyone and feeling awkward. Situations like these we can call problems, and if you have a critical mind, you will be aware of such problems. If you are good at this, you will already have recalled between 5 and 10 problems from this morning's journey to work. Ideas can be born when you find negative situations and think of ways of getting rid of them using your critical mind. Let's take a look at two examples from Japan. Until quite recently, sending parcels was not an easy matter. First, you had to take the parcel to a post office or railway station, and delivery would take at least 2 or 3 days. Urgent deliveries had to be sent as station collection. And it was impossible to get information on the parcel's progress once it was mixed with all the others. There were problems of time and effort and delayed delivery. From the user's point of view, this service was not customer-friendly. Believing that this situation could be improved, a certain company took a hard look at the problem from the user's standpoint and then started its own commercial express delivery service. One telephone call, home pickup, guaranteed next-day delivery, except for long distances, and barcode information control for easy location of parcels. These were the services offered. This is a good example of even going to the length of forming a special private company to remove negative situations. Here's another example. It used to be necessary to have exactly the right coins to make a public telephone call, and there was the problem of not receiving change when you used a larger value coin. Not being sure how long the money would last made users feel uneasy. Most of us have had this experience. A perfect way to remove these inconveniences was found: the telephone card. The card removed the necessity of constantly inserting coins and removed the problem of losing unused money. With the card, you only pay for exactly the length of the call you make. In addition, the machine tells you how much money remains on the card, and by buying a card, you can even get a few free calls as a bonus. For the telephone company itself, the card has great merits. It removes the inconvenience of collecting money from every public telephone and also provides the company with money in advance. But the telephone card does not just mean the removal of user inconveniences. One of its great merits is its potential as an advertising medium. In other words, the invention of the telephone card created a new negative situation: a blank surface. From this situation, a new merit has been generated: the possibility of adding your own beautiful designs or advertising copy on the card. To tackle problems sensitively, you must never be satisfied with the present situation. If you think everything's fine, you will no longer be capable of recognizing problems. It's vital that you always want to expand your expectations. Your basic purpose should always be to fulfill your dreams, thinking, "I want to do this." The more your dreams expand, the higher your purpose will become, and you will clearly see the gap between the present situation and your ideals. This gap is the problem awaiting your ideas. Let's consider the situation in the workplace. Can't we find a way to make the work easier? Isn't there a more correct way to do the work? Isn't there a quicker way? Isn't there a cheaper way? Can the work be made safer? Isn't there some way to provide more customer satisfaction? By looking at the workplace in this way, it is possible to find various problems that need solving. 3 basic types of problem are closely involved with our daily work: ineffectiveness, waste of effort, and uneven quality. Ineffectiveness is when the means is insufficient to meet the purpose. Waste of effort is when the purpose could be met without so much effort. Uneven quality is a combination of the other two. These are three big problems in our work. Having perceived the surface problems, it is now necessary to think about why they occur and so be able to pursue the real, practical problems. By only considering surface problems, attention may be diverted away from the real underlying problems. Once these are found, then you must think about how they can be solved. At this time, the most important thing is not to consider just one idea, but to explore as many ideas as possible. Never think one idea is enough. Ideas must be considered from all angles. And the more you get different points of view, the better possibility there is of finding a good solution. As an example, if we consider how to move something from one place to another, it is clear there are many possibilities. It can be carried by hand. It can be carried by vehicle. It can be lifted by crane. It can be moved on a conveyor belt. It can be hung from a rope and slid down. It can be sent down a chute. It can be moved using a spring. It can be blown by a jet of air. It can be ejected from a cylinder. The layout of the place can be changed to avoid the necessity of moving the thing at all. Indeed, there are many ways of moving something. The most important point for refining ideas is to pick up ideas from many different angles and choose the best. The core of all ideas is knowledge. If you lack knowledge, you will soon run out of ideas, even if you think from many different angles. Lots of knowledge is required to think up ideas, and it should not be only knowledge that is acquired from others. You also need your own active knowledge. But how is such active knowledge acquired? First, you must challenge more and more things and gain first-hand experience. Second, even if you have no personal interest in something, try to understand other people's interests. Thirdly, check the background of things you are interested in and check the relationship between new things and what you know already. In this way, you can acquire knowledge and gain experience on the basis of which you associate things, and not only get new ideas, but also refine them. The 9 questions on Osborne's famous checklist for thinking up ideas are very useful for helping you to use your active knowledge. The first question is, isn't there another way we can use? Is it possible to expand the present usage? As an example of this, when frozen foods are delivered, a cooling agent is required to keep the temperature low. Someone accidentally spilt milk on this and produced something resembling ice cream. From this incident, it became possible to design an ice cream maker which doesn't use electricity. The second question is, can't an idea be borrowed from something similar? For example, using the hair dryer as the hint of an idea, a mattress dryer was produced. Using the electric rice cooker as the hint, a bread maker was produced. Using the electric shaver as a hint, a fluff remover was produced. The third question is, can't something be changed? For example, it is very difficult for a person sick in bed to drink something using a straight straw. By simply changing the straw's design a little, it was possible to produce a flexible type straw which can easily be used in a reclining position. The fourth question is, what happens if we scale up? If we make something bigger or add something, it may create a new value. One such product is the push phone type telephone, which includes many functions such as speaker reception, redialing, and so on. Another is the 4-door type refrigerator, which has a freezer, a chilled compartment, and a vegetable compartment. One more example is the big TV screen, measuring around 30 inches. The fifth question is, what happens if we scale down? A new convenience may be created by making something smaller and simplifying it. For example, the small, light, portable cassette player created by removing the speaker. A portable stationery set, which appeals greatly to the younger generation. A card-type calculator, which easily fits into a wallet. The sixth question is, can't something be replaced? This is a question of replacing one thing by another. Instead of a heater, throw away hot pads to keep your body warm. Instead of a camera, a film with a built-in lens. Instead of a real hot spring, health bath chemicals to put in your bath water. The seventh question is, can't we exchange something? Here is an example. A long time ago, someone had the idea of exchanging the nib of a fountain pen with a brush for calligraphy. But the ink quickly became sticky and dried up, and so the brush pen was difficult to use. However, the brush pen became a working reality recently by using another black pigment instead of ink and by using polyester material for the point. With this creation, calligraphy became possible anywhere and at any time without ink problems. The eighth question is, what happens if we reverse it? The handheld mini copier is a good example of the technique of reversal. With a normal copy machine, the paper or magazine to be copied is placed on the machine. However, the mini copier works in reverse. It copies as it is moved across the paper. The ninth and final question is, can't we combine things? There are many examples of this process. A combination ballpoint pen and seal. A combination steam iron and brush. A combination hairdryer and iron for travelling. As you can see, in order to expand the range of your ideas, it is well worth considering Osborne's checklist carefully. Aiming for ever more convenience, people are constantly coming up with new ideas. When your ideas prove effective and satisfy many people, you can feel a great sense of fulfillment. That is why we should all do our best to produce ideas. The responsibility for suggesting ideas is in no way restricted to those in charge of research and development. In the production department, in the sales department, in the administration department, in various departments of the company, everyone is trying to present ideas which will make the work easier, more correct, quicker, cheaper, safer, and also provide more satisfaction for customers. For example, suppose you have to seal many envelopes using sticky tape. If you simply cut the tape by guesswork, it will sometimes be too long, sometimes too short, and will often have to be redone. However, if you fix the position of the tape cutter on the work table, pull the tape out just to the edge, and then cut it, the tape will always be exactly the same length. There will be no wastage of time or materials, and you will be able to finish the work more quickly. In a certain production department, to avoid the problem of accidentally knocking the switches for machine adjustment, a cover was installed over the switchboard. Someone had the idea of making the cover of transparent acrylic material and then making a hole just over the emergency stop switch which needs to be immediately accessible. This greatly avoided loss of working efficiency. An interesting idea was developed in the sales section of a department store. Every day, many boxes have to be wrapped as presents, but it is not easy to do this efficiently. Depending on the position of the box, there may be too much paper or not enough. And so, a scale was designed, which indicates exactly where to place the box on the paper for easy wrapping. This avoids mistakes and also reduces customer waiting time. One idea was developed in an office to improve efficiency with the facsimile machine. Every day, monthly reports would be sent from the sales branch to the head office. But in fact, only daily information was really needed. Someone had the idea of producing a smaller report form on clear film, on which the day's report could be written by just adding numbers. Then the film could be wiped clean for use the next day. Not only did this result in a great saving on paper, but also the transmitting time is reduced from 40 seconds to 10 seconds. These are just 4 examples from many ideas which were thought up by the people actually doing the work. They were not ideas developed by experts. If those people had not noticed the problems, then maybe no improvements would have been made. If everyone can succeed in making their work easier through suggestions and improvements at their own place of work, then without doubt the number of inferior products will be reduced, product quality will be increased, work will speed up, delivery dates will be shortened, waste will be reduced, costs will go down, and of course customer satisfaction will increase, and the image of the company will improve even further. Today's companies are all busily collecting ideas. Everyone is being asked to suggest ideas because if everyone at their place of work can make suggestions based on originality and ingenuity, those ideas will proceed to the administration side and, taken as a whole, may even strengthen the whole character of the company and increase the company's competitive power. The continuous development of ideas and suggestions can be of great merit not only to the company, but to each individual involved. First of all, ideas are activated at the workplace in order to make everyone's work easier and to improve the level of production in all departments. This is a very satisfying process. Secondly, if you come up with good ideas, you may get rewards, as well as admiration and respect from your colleagues, your bosses, and the company itself. Thirdly, if you keep thinking about ideas at all times, you will strengthen your powers of observation and improve your ability both to accomplish and understand the work that you are doing. In other words, suggestions can improve both you as an individual and your company as a whole. At the beginning, any little thing will do. Don't hesitate to consider any small idea that you think might be useful. Through constant suggestions, you may find yourself capable of wonderful originality and ideas that lead to great improvements. It is your ideas that can help the company develop more and more.